That we are. And we have spawning down in the bottom left, the blue Zerg player. Give it up for Bly on fire.
And in the bottom right, in the red, he is from Russia with love, the Protoss player, SKillous.
Interestingly, both of these players are teamless. Bly was a member of, honestly, has been a member of a lot of teams alongside Scarlet, which is kind of cool. But currently is not a member of any major organization at this point. And SKillous was a member of Cascade, but unfortunately Cascade had to kind of lower their interactions, lower their exposure, yeah, I guess so. Lower their budget, I guess, as unfortunately their main sponsor did kind of step away for the moment. So they're looking to secure another sponsor, but in the meantime, not able to support their players. And unfortunate news for them, but I hope we'll see them come back, because by all accounts, we've heard only good things about Cascade.
Oh, absolutely. They've done such a good job sponsoring, top tier players. Soul is a big one there. And also developing players like SKillous, who we've seen get better and better and better every ladder season, every DreamHack season. And part of that is, again, you have the support of a large organization, or just of an organization in general. It means maybe even if they don't pay all of your living expenses, maybe or maybe you can't cover all your living expenses between team sponsorship or team membership and the tournaments you win, at the very least, maybe you're working a part-time job instead of a full-time job to support yourself. That means there's more time for practice. That means there's more time to develop. That means there's more time to get good enough to get more money to maybe allow you to go fully full-time. I don't know what SKillous or Soul or any of their positions are, whether they do work a job on the side, but still, it is cool to see that these teams are, that hopefully Cascade does come back and they are allowing these players to just get as good as they possibly can be, because you know what, Steadfast, that's only good news for us. That gives us insane games. And I'm just here for the insane games.
Oh, 100%. The better every player is, the better that is for the scene, the higher quality game player. The more players can invest into it, the more hype you guys get at home, because you love these games. We get more games like what we saw in that first series. And I hope we see a whole lot of that today. Now, do you think we see SKillous going for the double Stargate Void Ray? He is opening up with a Void Ray. I feel like SKillous is one of those players that probably, at the very least, is strongly tending towards this kind of thing.
Yeah, like I don't know as much about SKillous as I do other players. In the back of my head, I have this idea that he likes his charge slots and he likes his blink stalkers, but I think that's more of a PvP thing than I'm thinking of. And you know what? I think if you're gonna make a guess about what a Protoss player A, you can't see their ID, you just see, hey, they're opening with a Stargate, and you're trying to figure out, are they going to commit to ground, or they're going to commit to air? I think the meta is still so strongly double Stargate focused, or just Stargate in general focused, that my bet would be, yeah, it's going to be air focus here. And especially on a map like Blackburn, that is so good for the Stargate style, with how much dead airspace there is, and how safe you can be against the builds that punish it the most, right? The Queen Walks, things of that nature, where it's just so hard to get on top of the third base, which kind of almost forces the Zerg player to attack into one position and not two, which means you're going to do a much better job of getting your static defense in location. Well, we are absolutely fine there. But as you point out, second Stargate is now underway. We don't see +1 yet. I would like to see that soon. I do like the +1 double Stargate build over, there we go, +1, over the no +1 double Stargate build. Oh, never mind.
Oh, what? Elects to get a quick robotics facility instead. That, yeah, I honestly think it's almost not even worth going double Stargate if you don't get the +1. Like, I think it's just so powerful. Now that being said, Oracle does pop on in, grabs 2 drones, which is pretty nice. Yeah, I really don't like skipping the +1 in this scenario. Like, it's just so powerful. It transitions into the later stages of the game, which is obviously very, very helpful. it lets you hold off queen walks so much more easily. Now that quick robo can get you a very, very quick robotics bay and a very quick disruptor, which is also extremely powerful at holding off these pushes. Now he starts up the +1 again. What?
So getting +1 now means that it's not done by the time we see any sort of queen walk, if that does happen. I mean, we have, how many queens do we have on the map right now? We're going up to 7. That's not really enough of a tell just yet. You want that number of queens to just defend anyways. And oh, the hold position micro here. It is one adept that's trying to do anything. Yeah, it'll kill these Zerglings, but it's going to take a while to clear them on out. But it looks like, I guess, that he was waiting to get +1 because he wanted to be able to afford a Robobay on time. Make sure he can get those disruptors out, because he started +1 pretty much the minute Robobay got started, and it's a higher, you know, there's the hierarchy of needs. I forget who. There's someone's hierarchy of needs, and there's also the hierarchy of Protoss needs. SKillous, he wants his disruptors first.
Stats is hierarchy of Protoss needs.
Sure.
I was like, who do I go with there? And I was like, yeah, you know, we'll go with the Shield of Ire. We do have a Spire coming down. Did SKillous see this? He got a... Oh, he did. Oh, he saw it immediately. Oh, that is such good information for him.
Wait, I'm just like, look, here, look at the scout. And then I show the wrong base. It's fine. Where's that Spire? It's okay. Anyway, +1 behind this as well. And I talked about this last game, or last series. I'm like, yeah, this is something that Raynor and Solar and DRG are doing. And then we didn't see it. All right, we didn't see that move into Spire to prevent carriers from coming on out. But Bly may be doing that in this game, but I can't help but feel that that's just a little bit late. +1 will be done by the time this Spire is done. We already have our Fleet Beacon halfway done, third Stargate underway. And again, Steadfast, the goal of this is to prevent the Fleet Beacon. The Fleet Beacon from tech, maybe not the Fleet Beacon from going down itself, but prevent those carriers, prevent that higher level of tech that is so scary. But if there is +1, if there are going to be 3 voids coming out at a time, and we're already at 8, you know, Midas actually won't, at least at first glance, until they get up even higher in numbers, they won't really fight that all that well.
No, there's actually not a great situation here. We are seeing +1 air coming down, and Bly is just banking money. He's actually not spending his resources, so he wants to pop out a whole bunch of units all at once. And that's very interesting to me. He's up at 91 drones, by the way, which is crazy and such an un-Bly thing to do. But I love it. I love the, like, heavy mass drone style. And there we go, 15 corruptors getting pumped out all at once.
See, we are.
It is important to note.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go on.
So we are going to be at
Well, I was going to say, oh, go on, my bad.
All right, we're going to be at 8 Void Rays here, and yeah, we have Void Ray speed underway, so it's not going to be quite the Void Ray numbers we need to deal with 15 Corruptors. But we're getting there, especially with +1, especially with Void Ray speed, especially with shield batteries, and, you know, tickle damage from the Oh! Look at that!
Love it.
I don't think I've seen that wall before.
Neither have I, but it's great. What a good... Imagine if Showtime had this wall in his match versus Raynor in match 1. He might have taken first place in the group.
I mean, wouldn't it have died any... Well, there were Ravagers with that army, right? That is a single pylon keeping that entire wall alive. So I'm not really sure that matters, as now we will have it's Link Corruptor diving on in. Nothing's really dying just yet. Thick beams have been turned on, but they're just going to get weighted to time on out here. And you know what? Walls are great, Steadfast. But if walls only fire in one direction, well, the underbelly is still there.
Yeah, Maginot line a little bit on the top side right here. Gonna let these Zerglings in, just going through the Ardennes. And that is problems here. Ooh, but that being said, Bly does bait the Void Rays and Corruptors to the wrong spot. And he's gonna be able to get in here. Even Baneling's finding 7 probes. Not bad at all.
No, I love this as well. They're not Speed Banes. Speed Banes, Baneling speed was not even on the way when that aggression happened from Bly. No. They're just gonna go for that waddle. We saw that waddle on this map earlier, right? The Queen that went maybe a little bit too far. But yes, slow Banes at 10 minutes into this game. Yeah, sure, why not? That being said, we do have Vipers on the field now, I believe. Yeah, 1 Viper on the field. Doesn't have too much energy yet, but that's when life gets a little bit more difficult. So, okay, the Corruptors, they're gonna waste a little bit of time here trying to kill that base, but I mean, the Void Rays are there. We're still only on 8, though. We don't see more Void Rays on production, it's just carriers. And considering this army is literally just a Void Ray Queen or a Void Ray Zergling kind of don't like that. I think you just build more voids. But, well, the Zerglings looks like they will succeed in knocking this base down.
Oh, it's going to be real close. The lack of charge is actually making these Zealots so slow to respond. +2 melee is going to complete just at the end. If it had been like 5 seconds earlier, that base goes down. But as it is, not going to be able... Oh, the probe's going to pull, but still will go down. Only 2 Zerglings were hitting that base at that moment.
What a move there. But now, okay, Parasitic Bomb on top of these Void Rays. This is where things get problematic because nothing's getting pulled steadfast. They're all just taking the full damage. And yes, shield battery overcharge means that maybe it doesn't matter as much as it might otherwise, but still, that was a lot of damage there from the Corruptors. They're going to dive on in once again. Another Void Ray goes down. Another one. And at this point, there's not enough anti-air to deal with these Corruptors. It's just carrier tech, as we were talking about, and carriers against Corruptors do not win.
No, they do not. You mentioned it earlier. It's a really great point. You can't just go blind carrier into Corruptor. If he'd added on, if he had 6 more Void Rays right there, that game or that engagement is laughably bad for Bly. But as it was, the Void Ray count was not high at all. And now the Corruptors, they're just going to start spraying this Nexus down. Look at it getting deleted right there as that ramp up, you know, kind of occurs.
Now, here's what it is 12 minutes into this game. Charge is still not done. As now SKillous is looking to move out of the map. He's like, yeah, you got a lot of Corruptors, dude. That's great. You know, Corruptors, they don't shoot up. So I'm going to run across the map here with my Archon slow Zealot attack that will have +2. We'll have, yeah, only +2. And that's how I'm going to win this game. Steadfast, what game is this?
This is... I think this is 2 AIs playing against each other right now, and they're like 98% on track with hitting the players that they're trying to, but just missing the mark. Meanwhile, big recall comes in. Ironically, the Ultralisks actually kept the Banelings from connecting on those Zealots, and so SKillous does get away with most of the Zealots, but he's down 60 army supply. I think there's no way.
Yeah, on the upper right-hand side, it looks like the base is going to go down. Well, actually, not enough Corruptors here. The Stalkers warp in time. They have got +2. They deal with armored units rather well indeed. This one Ultra says, I'll hold the line, boys. You kill the base. And that is absolutely what's going to happen here. The Archons are not dying. The Ultra, I think it finally died, but it did absolutely, it did its worth here. And the Archons, even with shield battery overcharge, looks like they're not going to survive that much longer. GG SKillous says, go next. Bly takes game 1.
Absolutely great play out of Bly right there. I do have to say, SKillous, you nailed that point earlier about the Void Rays. Like, if he makes Void Rays, I think this game ends completely differently. Or at the very least, Bly loses a lot. Maybe he's still able to, you know, snowball it because he had knocked his opponent's economy down a little bit. But I don't know. That's that was such a weird move to go for more carriers there instead of more Void Rays.
And I can understand, you know, getting the carriers at first, right? You have that tech transition, you got 3 Stargates. But when you see all the Corruptors out and you see more Corruptors joining, I feel like that's when you say, look, I'm even canceling my carriers that are underweight, more Void Rays. This is what I need. I don't have Storm. I don't believe he ever got Storm that game, or if he did, it was very late.
Nope.
And yeah, maybe Archons can sit under Corruptors and do well, but Corruptors just sit in dead airspace and kill things now. And even then, we didn't see enough Archons to really make anything work all that well. Unfortunate there for SKillous, but I just don't think he read the game as well as he should have, or as well as we would expect him to.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that was a really unfortunate scenario. Still, solid moves out of Bly. He droned up super hard in that game, went really ham on the drone count, and just did a fantastic job. I kind of wish we'd seen this Bly in some of his other series, because I think we'd be talking about him going for the you know, going for the 4th place in this group. Let's take a look at it. If he had won one more series, could he have still made it through? Only if Gerald had lost to Strange. But if he had beaten Gerald, yeah, if he had beaten Gerald, he'd be playing for a playoff spot right now, I believe.
Yeah, let's see. So if he beats, let me make sure I see what's happening. If he beats Gerald, then Gerald is now 3-4, and he is 2-4. Right. Wait, how does that doesn't work out, right? No, sorry. Gerald is going to be 2-4. He'd be 2-4. Assuming he'd be, give him 3 maps, he'd be -3. Yeah, he'd be close enough to maybe make something happen. I mean, Goblin, well, I don't know. Lots of permutations. I don't know, Steadfast.
Yeah,
you're,
yeah.
you're better at
Things
this
you,
math
you
thing than
can't
I am.
just you can't just look at it in a bubble, but it's I think it's kind of a shame. It's kind of a shame. I would have loved to have seen Bly make the playoffs. He does struggle in a group like this. There's so many different, even though that he's playing 5 Protosses, they're all so different from one another. All of them are so different. Literally, all of them have just a unique stamp on the matchup. And I'm glad that we're getting, some new blood in Geralt making the playoffs. SKillous. Would have been nice to see Goblin make it through as well. But I would have loved to have seen Bly, with some prep time and a best of 5, see what he can do.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he has won championships before. It's not like we're just sitting here. It's like, Bly, he's good, but how good is he really? Again, you give him a 4-player group, like a GSL style group. I think he does a lot better, as you were saying. But we're going to have to see whether SKillous can fight back in game number 2, or whether Bly is just going to be in the land of opportunities and what ifs. Because now, Steadfast, game number 2 is loaded on up here. It's 2,000 atmospheres. Let's get into that.
Absolutely. As we have spawning up in the top right position of 2K Atmos, it is SKillous in the red.
And in the bottom left, in the blue, he's up 1 game in this series, the Master of Madness, Bly.
I like that nickname. I like the Master of Madness. That's a good one. That's a good way of putting it too. Speaking of madness and speaking of mastery, we are going to be having a proxy hatch. You mentioned he doesn't proxy hatch every game, but he does a lot of the time, and it is going to be a hatch block coming on down here. Triple hatch before pool. I love this play so much. It is such a nasty way of playing. Oh.
I mean, this is how you respond to this, right? You drop the forge, you drop a cannon behind, so you don't have to pull probes too quickly, and then you're also able to punish the hatch on the other side of the map, because there is not going to be a pool.
Oh no!
He messed up.
Oh no! Oh, SKillous. Oh, that was a mistake. He needed to build it so that it pushed the probe behind the mineral line. That is a huge mistake. Oh, but gateway coming down. Bly's taking this very seriously, though. This is not going to work. And he's full walled himself.
I mean, at the very least, you want to make sure that you have that cannon on the other side of the map. And there we go. There's going to be cannons going on down here. But I mean, these cannons are never going to get up. There's no spot here for the probe to drop anything. Maybe there's an opportunity for... Yeah, okay, the game is going to get canceled. Never mind. I'm like, maybe if you drop a second pylon and you get some units out of that gateway, then you can get a cannon down eventually. But by then, the creep's going to be there. I don't really see it. Okay. Oh, Bly. Is he even going to let it finish? Like, yeah.
I was gonna say that was the question mark for me, was does he let it finish? And I like the decision. He's gonna get a lot of creep up here. This is gonna delay this Nexus by so much.
Oh, we're gonna get a queen. I don't know if the queen gets out before the hatchery dies, but if it does, I mean, that is just going to be disastrous here. It's gonna necessitate an oracle first, right? So you can knock down the queen. Yeah, okay. Bly's like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Instead, we have Zerglings. They're gonna run on into the main base here. 2 of them will take damage, of course, but 4 Zerglings against the mineral line. Actually, not the best fight there for the Zerglings. We're going to have to wait till 6, where things are going to get a little bit better for our Zerg player. But there's an Adept. Wait, they're going to trap the Adept in the ramp? No, not quite.
Oh, no. Oh, they do get a probe. Not worth it yet. And the queen will not pop on out. God, if he could have gotten a creep tumor up there, that could have been game winning. Oh, he gets a second probe. Meanwhile, though, on the other side of the map, Adept actually got in and got 3 drones. Oh, man, that should not have happened. That's a lot of damage, especially since Bly also built Zerglings. How many Zerglings did he build at home? He's building 4 more on the other side of the map. I actually really... Oh, he doesn't even control them, so he's not going to get anything for that.
Yeah, honestly, 4 Zerglings against a full mineral line doesn't really do all that much. And you talk about getting 3 workers against Bly, and you're like, oh, well, you know what? It's fine. He went 3 hatch before pool. Well, one of those hatches was on the other side of the map. And Bly's economy for the longest time. I love this. I love this so much. There's not a... Okay, we'll talk about this in a second. Let's finish that thought. Yeah. Losing that number of workers early on in a game where Bly has committed a lot on the other side of the map. I mean, he's made a grand total of 10 Zerglings, actually maybe even more. Yeah, 14 Zerglings. he built that hatch that he allowed to die. It's just going to take a while, right, for him to get anything to really develop his economy as well as he would like. But I love this from SKillous because he understands that if he plays a normal game, it's probably not going to work. Bly is too far ahead. But if he goes +1 Stargate, masses the voids before Bly can get on into enough anti-air, well, suddenly that becomes a problem because there's also this point that Bly is going to have to deal with where he does not have his creep between this natural and anywhere he would like to expand. Queens are going to take forever to get over there. And SKillous SKillous will be able to do a fantastic job of just preventing Bly from ever really expanding.
Yeah, this is very annoying. Bly is going to try and contest this here. SKillous, he's going to turn on that thick beam once again. I don't think he quite has the DPS to force the cancel just yet, though. Yeah, especially with 2 queens, he needed to be like stutter stepping that Void Ray. Oh, he's actually very late to pull it away. Drops down to 61 HP, and he could have done this a little bit of time. I guess he waited for the full duration of Prismatic Alignment. And I actually, you know what, now that I think about that, I don't mind that because he is going to have 3 Void Rays very soon, and there's no more queens in production. He might be able to actually just kill this hatchery flat out.
I mean, I like this from Bly. He understands kind of the situation that he's looking at. There are 5 queens on the map right now, and there we go. More are underway. So he kind of understands that, yeah, there's not going to be Warp Gate in this game, at least not for a while. I believe he saw I think he saw the second Stargate go down and saw the lack of finished Warp Gates. So that by itself, I mean, that's going to tell him that this game's getting a little crazy here. Certainly counter to the meta, but that is what Bly does more than anything else. He makes you question your very understanding of how this game is supposed to be played. And, well, you just got to scramble off that. Got to find something else. As early as they're going to try to knock this probe down, they will be unsuccessful. But Steadfast, it is 6 minutes into this game, and +1 is done.
Yeah, that is a very, very quick +1 air weapons. If he'd gotten the snipe on that probe, by the way, that would have been huge because this is a full wall, and he can't actually squeeze out another probe without killing it off. And he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to do that at all. This probe has a very important mission, so it's a very big deal that did stay alive right there. Pretty easy micro from SKillous to keep it alive. By the way, this hatchery is going to be pretty well protected. Ooh, but SKillous, I would have liked to have seen him, I think. No, never mind. There was enough energy to transfuse that high energy queen. If he could have gotten a kill on that high energy queen, would have been worth taking some hull damage on his Void Rays, but not going to be the case. Does find an Overlord, though, which is nice.
Yeah, it's something, and I like... So, back in Heart of the Swarm, in Wings of Liberty, Void Ray Colossus was the thing against Zerg. Something you saw, because traditionally, right, one of the ways that Zergs in Heart of the Swarm, Wings of Liberty would go and deal with Colossus deck is they'd build a lot of Corruptors. Vipers, and certainly in Wings of Liberty, but even in Heart of the Swarm, Vipers were not always the response. Sometimes you couldn't get there in time. And so Void Ray Colossus, right, deals with all the Corruptors, it's fine. But even then, that Void Ray Colossus, it would get stuff on the ground other than Colossus and have stuff in the, well, maybe not stuff in the air other than Void Rays, but there would be stuff on the ground other than Colossus. Steadfast, we're going straight a Void Ray Robo here. Nothing on the ground, but okay, finally we got Warp Gate underway.
You know, the standard, like, what, 720 Warp Gate timing? Very, very normal stuff. Void Rays are going to find a Gas Geyser, which is pretty nice, and they'll retreat on out here. That +1 doing so much damage. As you mentioned, tick damage. I think it's 0.4. I think they attack once every 0.4 seconds, which means they get 2.5 attacks per second, or 5 attacks every 2 seconds. And that is a big, big DPS boost, any attack damage you get.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So our first set of disruptors, they're just about out here. And how many queens are we? We're at 7 queens. Honestly, I would almost expect Bly to get more, but I mean, he is going Hydras behind this. But you know what queens, you know what Hydras they don't do? They're slow boys and slow girls and slow whatevers. They don't move all that quickly, especially not off creep as we will see the changelings there. They're just quaking in fear. They're like, oh God, do they see me? Up in the sky, but no, they won't. Certainly not for a little bit here. SKillous, he just, I guess, A-moved his Void Rays to knock down the detection, and yeah, there we go. Permanent detection in the main base. Changelings, yeah, they got a timer, but it feels like they might as well just last forever. It's double Disruptor, double Void Ray. Okay, Steadfast. I can't get over this, but you know what? It's fine. I love this. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really strong. Really, really strong. And these Hydras are moving out. They have Hydra speed on the way. It's not yet done. If Bly is not extremely careful, he might just lose 15 Hydras here. He might just lose all of them. He does find a Pylon and an Adept here. Oh, he's got to be so careful. Oh God. Somehow that Disruptor shot caught up. and kills 2 more Hydras there. Yeah, you can't push into that. What? Let's take a look at the battle report. 1 Adept and a Pylon. Nothing actually went down for SKillous in the fight. 4 Hydras basically for free there.
Well, you know, it's a Sunday. Everyone should get something free on occasion. I don't have any understanding why we're getting things free. But anyways, the Queens are walking into a wall, Steadfast. Queens, they're great against air units. They have that nice range. They don't die all that quickly, but they're
not
kill
good
stuff
against
on the ground all that
walls.
well. Sorry?
They're not good against walls. Oh, the Zealot not on hold position. Oh, that's actually a really big deal right there. Zergling's going to get into the main base. Hydra speed does complete. Nice split from Bly. No split right there, but not the best target fire on the Disruptor. Only gets 2 Hydras. That being said, this is a lot of Hydras. Great splitting coming in from Bly. I think that's all the Disruptor shots gone. And 25 probes have gone down. The main and natural are dead.
Bly is just doing such a good job here of sitting on the very edge of Disruptor shots. So yeah, he doesn't have to split back all that far when the Disruptor shots go on off once again. And now it's a game of a tug of war, heave-ho, to and fro. And the carriers that were coming on out, one of them will be delayed at the very least. But even then, carriers against +1 Hydras, when we're looking at these equivalent numbers of carriers of Hydras, well, it doesn't matter all that much. I mean, yes, as a Hydra player, oh, that's going to be a big shot. You can say, yes, as a Hydra player, you would like to have Carapace against +1 carriers. That is certainly true. But when it is a 40 supply lead, oh, God, I remain unconvinced.
Oh. God, Bly gets caught trying to go just back home, and actually his unit's path to the left. Oh, man, that was really close to being extremely bad. That being said, he is going to take down the main Nexus with this push. Oh, does lose a couple more Hydras. I think he just goes home with the Hydras. Just get Hive. Just get Hive, finish off that. He didn't kill the Nexus. Why not? Kill it. Just kill it, man. Oh, no. Don't go up the main base. Oh, I don't like this at all.
Well, if he gets into the main base, suddenly he has a position on the high ground that he can hold. He can force the Void Race to fight on into him just a little bit. He doesn't have as much micro ability, sure, but he can knock down a lot of this tech going on in. And I think maybe he feels like the Hydras are just a little bit too slow now. Oh, that Disruptor shot on the backside. SKillous, he's got the micro, he's got the forehand and the backhand here. And yes, the base is dead. We saw a lot of the tech. Actually, we didn't see a lot of the tech go down. SKillous was able to sit on top of that rather quickly. And yes, Steadfast, I think you're right. It's tempting to knock down another Nexus. It's tempting to knock down a lot of tech, but the tech didn't die, and we've just more and more carriers hitting the field. Bly's got his 5th phase underway, sure, but he's only on 68 workers. And only just now are we seeing that infestation pit hit. This counterattack from SKillous is going to be rather scary.
Yeah, it's going to be terrifying. Now, I still think Bly is in a fantastic position. Ooh, he picks off the Oracle. Nice. Finally, that was revelating him for so long and got a couple of drones. This should have been an easy win for Bly. Send those Zerglings into the main, kill the Nexus. He gets the same as what he would have gotten otherwise. Instead, he loses, what, 20 Hydras? He needed those Hydras for this counterattack. That being said, he's on 34 Hydras. Still, Disruptors can be huge game changers, and there are force shots available to be fired. First one is going to get dodged for the most part. Only think hitting one single Hydra. I love the Mass Spore. Oh, and he's going to be able to click down the Disruptors. All 3 of them getting taken down, and that should be game right there. Great moves from Bly. SKillous a little bit too overeager, but he needed to do something, and